Phil Kessel, the newest addition of the Vegas Golden Knights. 5 years ago, we might be talking about him as one of the best players in the NHL. But it's 2022, baby. What sort of impact is he going to have on this team? We got to talk about it. Welcome back, hockey fans. Welcome in if this is your first time to the channel. I'm Josh. This is the Hockey Flow, and today it's Thursday, August 25th, 2022. That's right, Phil Kessel. My goodness, the Vegas Golden Knights, we're recording their season preview. Check that out. It's in the link will be down in the description for you guys. And they go ahead and they drop the hammer and sign Phil the Thrill Kessel. That's right. Now I'm hearing a lot of chatter. He's going to have a huge season. He's cooked. Well, we got to talk about it. We're going to get to that in just a moment on Today in Hockey. But before we get to that, we got to get through Today in Hockey history. And then we're going to get to our headlines. And I tell you what, we're using it as a springboard to get into our question of the day. And it revolves Phil Kessel and the Vegas Golden Knights. With the help of JFresh Hockey, hockeyreference.com, Daily Faceoff, we're going to dive deep into Phil Kessel and take a look at his situation and answer one question for you. Stick around for that. If you do enjoy the content, take a moment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a ton. You get to be a part of one of the newest hockey communities on YouTube, and we're going to keep bringing you videos out almost every single day. Never know what the topic's going to be. Today in hockey history, August 25th in 1976, the Kansas City Scouts, would officially relocate to Denver and become the Colorado Rockies. Little original. This lasted for only 6 seasons when they relocated and became the New Jersey Devils. And Devils fans, the rest is history. All right, headlines. We spoiled it a little bit, but Vegas Golden Knights fans, you guys got a new one. Phil the Thrill Kessel signs a 1-year, $1.5 million deal with the team. I know a lot of folks were talking about wanting him on their team, including Oilers fans. I was screaming from the mountaintops, no, no, no. And I tell you what, after doing some research, I might be regretting that a little bit. So stay tuned for that, absolutely. And then the Florida Panthers. This was some neat news. Eric Stahl was given a professional tryout with the team. His older brother, Mark Stahl, is actually on that team right now as well. He said that was one of the reasons he's giving it a go. So we wish him the best of luck, absolutely. But all right, question of the day. Here it is. What can Vegas expect from Phil Kessel this season? Feels simple enough, right? All right, let's get into it. So here's Phil Kessel, and big shout out to JFresh Hockey on these player cards. Man, I love these things. Gives us a chance to really dive deep into the numbers and see behind the curtain a little bit. So, all right, first and foremost, let's get this out of the way. Elephant in the room. Phil Kessel had a rough season analytically, I want to point that out. He got kind of a bad rap last season, from myself included. I will 1,000% admit it, that I saw this 0% war, and I saw it earlier, and I'm just, yep, that's it. Phil Kessel, he's washed, that's it. But here to tell you, there's more to the story. So, yes, 0% war. That means, according to this model, he was better than no one in the NHL last season as far as wins above replacement. But that's okay, because he still did have an impact, and he was playing for a rather poor Arizona Coyotes team. So, okay, we got the 0% out of the way. We have to keep this in perspective, right? Like I said, he played for a tough Arizona team, or for a really bad Arizona team. I mean, they had some flashes. They have some good young pieces, but he played 82 games. That's fantastic. Put up only 8 goals. Again, playing on a tough team there. And then assists, he put up 44 assists for a whopping 52 points. I had no idea until I saw the stats that Phil Kessel actually put up 52 points. The way the media talked about it and the way that I see him drug through Twitter, it felt like Phil Kessel had 10 points on the season and 8 goals and only 2 assists. But he actually did have a nice impact on that team. 44 assists is very good. And we do see some blue on this player card. So keep in mind, red is bad, blue is good, right? We do see some blue on there. Certain possession numbers were great. His even strength offensive numbers, 75%. That's still solid. That means he is better than 75% of NHL players of impacting the impacting the ability for a goal to be scored at even strength. That is fantastic. 75% is not bad. Now, he is 34 years old, right? Now, I did want to make a joke about Father Time, stuff like that, but man, he's not that old. I know his pictures, and he's kind of aged a little rough, but he's got those city miles on him. But he did still have some decent impacts for the Coyotes last season, and those possession numbers really do stand out in certain areas. Possession rate and his pass entries, his entry possession rate. But we do have to talk about the bad, right? He is not going to bring anything defensively. He didn't last season, probably not going to bring anything this season. We see that on the forechecking. But that was Phil Kessel's 21-22 season. Under the radar, low-key, not a bad season, especially on that team. So we have to consider some things before we give you an answer to what sort of impact is Phil Kessel going to have with the Knights this season. So first and foremost, back to that 52-point mark. I was a little floored when I pulled up a list of players that had 52 points or less this last season, and this is comparable game-wise. This isn't like I picked a bunch of people that were injured. No, we kept within 5 or so games. I believe 5 was the max there. Connor Garland at 77 games played compared to Phil Kessel's 82, but everyone else played the same amount of games, essentially, right in that ballpark, and Phil Kessel 52 points lined up right with them. So I don't know why we're talking about Phil Kessel being washed. He still does have a nice impact on the offensive side of the game. Look at that. Travis Konechny, Shea Theodore, fellow Knight. We see Pietrangelo on that list. We see Evgeny Dodonov, someone that is a former Knight at this point, someone that Phil Kessel is going to be expected to fill in for. So there are some big names on this list, and we see Phil Kessel at the top because he had 52 points. The rest of these guys did not. One name that stood out in particular was Philip Deneau. Felt like the media was hyping him up, and he had an excellent season. Don't get me wrong. The games that I watched and the moments that I saw him play, he did have a solid impact, and he made some great plays, but I was really surprised that he only put up 51 points the way that everyone was talking. Now, again, 27 goals compared to Phil Kessel's 8. Well, guess what? I think there's something to that. Let's look at his stats here for 21-22 on the right-hand side. Shot percentage, S percentage, shout out to hockeyreference.com. 4.6% last season. Compare that to his career averages or even his career year in 2017-2018, 13%. That was his high, or that was his career season. I'm not sure if that's his career high for shot percentage, but point-wise, that was his best season, 92. But historically, his shooting percentage doesn't drop below 10, barely drops below 11, and last season he's at 4%. I fully expect him to rebound. He put up 8 goals at 4%. If he gets back even close to his career average and around that 10 mark, why can't we see double that, right? Shooting percentage doubles, goals could potentially double. He's going to be on a much better team where he's not expected to be the star. That's the biggest talking point. In Arizona, a lot of people looked at him as the primary scorer. He was going to have to be the guy, right? Clayton Keller stepped up. Nick Schmaltz stepped up. But here we are, and now Phil Kessel is a Vegas Golden Knight. He's not going to have to be a star. He could be a power play darling, right? Put him on power play 1, power play 2 probably, and just let him sit there and snipe goals, set up his teammates, keep possession of the puck. We just talked about he did do that really well last season. But one thing I do want to talk about, because I've seen it on Twitter, is he in Vegas to play hockey and win, or is he here to have fun and gamble and everything that comes with Vegas? I truly believe that he's here to win. He talked about it today. It was a 9-minute video that the team posted on Twitter, and he talked about how he's feeling rejuvenated and inspired and wants to win. And it's interesting to hear these comments and him wanting to come to Vegas to win when Max Pacioretty just kind of burns Vegas on no one holds anyone accountable. So we'll see who is actually telling the truth here. Was Pacioretty just a little salty? Is Phil Kessel just saying the right things because he's just happy to be in Vegas for other reasons? Only time will tell. But where will he slot in the lineup? I do see him slotting in probably line 3. I don't think he's going to be slotting on the line 4 because a lot of teams like to use that as your grinder line, right? So I think he will slot into line 3. He's not going to average as much ice time as typical, maybe 14 minutes, maybe 13, but I do think the power play is going to be where he makes his money this season, and I do think he's going to up that goal tally. I really do. So is 8 goals really the new Phil? No, I don't think it is, and we talked about the shot percentage. So, with all of this in mind, what sort of impact is Phil Kessel going to have on the Vegas Golden Knights this season? I think he's actually going to have a pretty good one. I'm putting him in the ballpark plus or minus 15 goals and plus or minus 45 assists. He put up 44 last season with a bad Arizona Coyotes team. He's going to be surrounded by a lot more talent. If you checked out the video yesterday, you know I'm high on Jack Eichel for this season. Well, someone's got to slot in those goals or feed the puck to Eichel in those power plays. Phil Kessel could be that guy. So I do think these numbers are obtainable. I think the Knights are going to sneak into the playoffs like we talked about yesterday. Spoiler alert. But yes, I think Phil Kessel is going to have a nice impact with the Vegas Golden Knights. But that's going to do it for the video today, guys. I do appreciate you. Always so much fun talking about it. Let me know what you guys think about Phil Kessel. Is he going to have an impact for the Knights? Are you hoping your team would have signed him, or do you think he's washed? I love hearing what you guys have to say. But again, thank you guys so much. Until tomorrow or Saturday, cheers.